Hi guys, this is Goddess Starla Vamp here for Ask a Dominatrix, where I answer your questions about fetish, kink, and BDSM. Let's get started, shall we? Okay, I'm wondering, do you ever fake an orgasm? Straight to the point. When the camera's off, I try not to. I might actually even secretly have an orgasm just because I don't want the tempo to change or anything like that. So, um, I have had the critique of that I'm too quiet and secretive about having orgasms, but that way I get to have them and kind of store them away and secretly have multiple orgasms. Not so secret anymore, right? But when the camera's rolling, yeah, definitely I'll fake an orgasm, where you want it to be performative and alluring and full of drama. So naturally, when you have an orgasm, weird things can happen, and it might not actually look that beautiful. But I think it is hard to fake like the eyes rolling in the back of your head kind of thing. So I think a bit of camera-wise, a bit of the reality and the fantasy, it's good to mix it up a bit. But one of my producers, she insists to fake the orgasm because they look better than the real ones. So that was a method that we would repeat. Hello, Goddess. Thank you for taking questions. When I started getting into fetish, it took me a while to feel comfortable because I have body issues. I'm wondering, do you always feel confident in front of the camera? And the answer is absolutely no, I don't all the time. And I can relate to feeling self-conscious with hardly any clothes on in front of people. Like if you're going to a fetish party, you can wear a lot of layers or hardly any layers, and it takes a while to kind of spread those wings of exhibitionism. I know it took me like about 3 events, I think. I would slowly start peeling the layers off. And I think the first time that you're really free, almost naked or even naked, and you realize what a good positive response that you can get from people, even if you want to call them a crowd of people. So that kind of works into your experience, and you keep a memory for that, and it can be really positive, and it going through the motions of that can give you confidence. Just bodies aren't perfect. This is gonna sound like a lecture, but it just, people can be attractive, no matter like what shape you're in. I think just owning your body and owning your personality, there's something there with that. It creates a presence, and our bodies will take us there. Our bodies will take us to the places that we want to go. So it's unfortunate when people can like get very upset about these things that they have no control over. And life's too short to get hung up on whatever these insecurities might be. And it can just be really fun to be naked and with a group of people and who all care about each other and just share something. And that skin to skin contact, or like close proximity of people to your skin, it creates a certain vibrance and a certain glow. And if you can psychologically get yourself to a place where you can have experiences like that, it's really life forming, I have to say. Of course, like in this pandemic, things things have changed, and it's not as free flowing, but it's just really nice to find that excitement. And as for, do I always feel confident in front of the camera? The eye of the camera really changes proportions of the body. They say what the camera adds 10 pounds. Sometimes it can be pretty unforgiving, but also people have told me, oh, you're photogenic, or oh, you're comfortable in front of the camera and things like that. And I think of it as I'm kind of superstitious about the camera. I believe that it has some kind of a presence that it's almost formidable. So it's kind of like almost like the camera's sort of like it's connected to a lot of different consciousnesses. Like it's like an entity, and you have to kind of make a deal with the camera or ask the camera to be nice to you, like, let's get along. Because I'm talking to the camera now. It's weird. It's not a personal, like, organic, natural thing to be talking to, like, this little dot, that creates this reflection of yourself and documents it forever on the internet. Like, this shit is weird, and it's not so natural. But hey, this is our technology, and this is where we are in history. This is what we've come up with, and we are obsessed with technology. Obsessed. And we keep moving forward and keep pushing it forward against better judgment. Like, there's just no turning back with this. So my attitude is, okay, if we're going full force forward, embrace it, and embrace it for your own freedoms, or your own expression, or your own rebellion. And I've had a lot of fun expressing myself in front of the camera. And it does come back to haunt me. And there is sort of kind of a backlash with, I'll do something, at one point, and then it doesn't age well, or it doesn't represent me later in life, kind of thing. But time moves forward, our technology moves forward, and you just have to, if it comes back in a negative way, try to handle it as best you can and communicate the context and the circumstances as best you can. Because we're not always that forgiving when it comes to the timeline of the media that we're making, and we're just jumping into this ocean of the internet with all these selfies, nudes, sexting, all this. And I mean, you have to be kind to yourself. And like, it's not like I never use filters, but I'm like a very raw, unfiltered, almost like aggressive in how raw or natural I want it to be. And I think when I was younger, I was able to use the camera in a more punk rock kind of way. in a more rebellious kind of way. And then as time moves on, even though it probably doesn't get more sophisticated, I want it to be more sophisticated, because I know that I have to own up to like all the things that I do. I have to answer to my younger self all the time. I have to answer to who I was yesterday and the media that I made yesterday. And that might sound like it's not a big deal, but you're the one who knows the price of that later on. So I don't know. I'm just motivated to hopefully make good work, although my future self might cringe at the stuff that I'm making now. So someone writes, tell us about the fascination you had as being a live mannequin or doll. As I had mentioned in one of my previous videos here, my YouTube videos, I worked at a webcam studio in 2009, and I came across the concept of freezing and dollification and like being a robot lady. And there was a forum called Sex Fetish Robot, and there was a really popular blog called Conscious Object, which actually was one of my first word tattoos, was Conscious Object. So this fetish is near and dear to me. I have these sort of like robot line tattoos, and it's a very artistic fetish, and it's something where if you're interested in it, you can see it everywhere. Like my apartment is filled with mannequin parts, and when you go to the shopping mall, there's all these mannequins in there. They're just frozen there. I think the thing that I really like about it is Conscious Object. When you're a living person and you're being frozen in position, it gives more emphasis on your actual life inside the object and your actual consciousness. So that's a really fun exercise to do with someone who actually cares about your consciousness. And I guess like in terms of like, you know, making machines, making robots, it's just this like obsession with perfection and excellence, which in a strange way, I'm kind of a perfectionist, and like I can be an overachiever, and I can be really OCD about stuff. So that kind of struggle for perfection really appeals to me, but I try to like take a step back and make fun of myself and sort of distance myself from, well, you don't have to be so perfect, and everything's going to be okay if you don't have control over this or that. The sky's not going to fall. So, which is like a weird contrast, because I love chaos and I love punk rock, kind of, you know, world upside down concepts, but then I can be a total perfectionist. So I like these themes within Dollification. It's also like a really strange kind of submissive thing too, because the person who's posing you or wants you to freeze is dominating time and dominating your body by controlling your breath, controlling your blinking. And it's actually kind of painful to not move and to like hold your muscles in place. So it's a certain kind of like dominance and submission, which is kind of undetectable, like unbeknownst to the observer. So that's a fun, kinky thing that you can do, and people are going to wonder about you. She's not moving. Is this a sex thing? Okay, another question. I don't understand cock and ball torture and ball busting. Why do people get off on this? Everyone experiences pain differently, stimulation, and if they're consenting to it and the evidence is there that, oh, he's okay, he's still standing up, he's having a good time, thumbs up, it is what it is. Cause and effect. So it's the effect is good. It's just something that you're not going to understand with your own experience and your own body. And it doesn't dismiss that he's having a good time. So it's just something where why do people get off on this? We're never really gonna know why that. Why does he get off on it? It's his body. It's how he drives his vehicle, how he drives his body. So that's for him to know. I don't have a cock or balls to bust, so I don't know what it feels like. I can only imagine and have some kind of notion in my head or some kind of empathy in my head, but that's how far that goes. And as long as my imagined empathy can match his impact and his experience, then we're getting along, then we're communicating, we're having like this language of green light, go, red light, stop, you know? So, I mean, it's not even, when you're having an experience with someone like that, you're not supposed to know. That's a lot of the fun, is you're doing something, you have your experience, he has his experience, and where that connects, it's in your imagination. And that's as far as that's going to go. And that's where the open mindfulness comes in. Because I have to be open to try to get it. To try to imagine how he feels. So ultimately with that though, you want to do that with someone who gives a shit about you. Because and when it comes to this stuff, like, you hear horror stories, you hear, like, about someone was pushed too far, or, you gotta be so careful with this stuff. So, I mean, start off slow and escalate, a crescendo with that kind of thing. But with all the adrenaline that's going and the endorphins flying and stuff like that, you just you have to check yourself, and less can be more. I'm wondering if you meet a lot of men who just wear panties or stockings. So even if you're wearing panties or stockings, like if you're a man and you wear masculine clothing, so this is sort of like I've met a lot of businessmen, corporate businessmen, where this is their flavor. This is what they like to wear, the panties at the office. And stockings, pantyhose, it's just this little secret thing that they got going on, and it's really exciting for them. I had a session with a businessman who he came from the States, and he drove like over the border in panties and stockings, and he was just so proud of himself that he did this naughty thing in secrecy, which I'm like, all right, that's on you. Like, I didn't order you to wear panties over the border, but if that's your thing, all right. So it's kind of it's just sort of self-entertaining, I guess. Or it can be. And a lot of straight guys do this. I mean, it's a piece of clothing, and it's something that clothes are a uniform, you know? They're a social status. Like, fashion in itself is just so loaded. So even you get to a point where it's just so traditional, or it's so like wearing a suit, a corporate suit. It's just such a universal symbol of the man in the workforce, and paired with stockings, it creates a different label on a label. And it's just sort of it's gender fucking. Gender bender, gender fucking. And this becomes a behavior. This becomes like a repeated behavior. You might kind of get addicted to the routine and your own little rituals of doing things. Or, you know, if you go and pick out the pantyhose, like, you like going into that store and you like talking to the woman, and you might build some kind of a rapport with different people in a community getting these things, and it can become like a nice little thing that you do for yourself, and a little treat. So like there's different levels where people want to take everything in their exploration. Thank you, Goddess Starla, longtime fan. What is your advice on increasing size of anal play? So if you've never done anal before, you want to start off really small, really gently, about the size of a finger. If you're doing it by yourself or with a friend, you can get a glove and like really lube it up. Like, lube is your best friend. And you can start with one finger and then increase to two, and larger and so forth. And the first time you do it, it might like really hurt, but it gets easier, and a lot of people, like, this is their flavor, like this is their favorite thing, and it's a door that becomes open. And the important thing is to be realistic and to be kind to your body, and just to not push yourself too far. And also, if you're doing this with someone else, like if you're doing strap-on or something like that, just be with somebody who gives a shit about you, who cares. And that makes all the difference, because you want someone to be careful with your body and to have responsibility. And anal is something that you need to trust the person that you're doing it with. Another question. Why are sissies attracted to pink? Can you be a sissy and wear blue? Of course you can. I think it's just fashion choices. It's trends. And you're right. It is sort of a fashion trend that with cross-dressing, like it's a pink dress and it's got like all these pink frills upon frills. And yeah, you don't see like that many dresses like that in blue, and I think it's just a personal choice, and just the labeling of women, girls, pink, 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 pink everywhere, different shades of pink. And I mean, that's cute. I guess range would be nice, and maybe you can create your own fashion line where you make baby blue sissy dresses. It's a supply and demand kind of thing. Hi, goddess. I would like to know, where is the weirdest place a guy has come? I don't really... I can't choose. So I'm just going to tell you the variety of creative places that a guy has come. I had someone for a session, he was like really specific, and he brought his own spoon. And he said, I'm going to come in this spoon and eat it. And he did. And he was just like very focused, very goal oriented. And I have to say, like, it was kind of impressive that he brought his own spoon. And then I also had a session with someone who like was really particular that he wanted to come on his own face, and he actually like kind of went on his back and like had his legs in the air and propped up like on a pillow, and like, yeah, he just came right on his face. And then of course there's like the classic come on the feet kind of thing, or where else is pretty creative? I guess when they just like, when they keep it and eat it. I don't know. I see a lot. It's on them. You know, if you want to do that, go right ahead. It's up to you. So, yeah. Hope there's a takeaway from that. So those are all the questions that I have today, and I hope that my experiences, that it shines some light somewhere and helps creative ideas.